Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. You guys have been asking us to cover leadership communication for ages.
You really have.
So that's what we're doing today.
And you know it's something
Digging deep.
that we both find super fascinating.
For sure. And we've got a ton of really cool material to go through.
7 episodes, actually.
5 from The Communicative Leader.
And then 2 from Sales Pipeline Radio. So really getting into...
Yeah, just a bunch of different perspectives.
With all different angles.
Yeah, coaches and...
business experts.
Yeah, a range of folks who...
Someone who specializes in men's emotional intelligence even.
Yeah.
All about communication and culture and all of that.
And you know, the real goal here is to
Delegate.
extract those golden nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can actually take away and apply to your own leadership journey.
Like whether you're...
no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, if you're managing a team or running a business or just...
even if you're not in a leadership position.
Right, even in your personal life. Just looking to up your communication skills in general.
Right.
You're going to find something valuable here.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's jump in.
Let's do it.
So one of the things that I thought was really interesting was this idea of psychological safety.
Ooh, good one.
That came up over and over again,
Yeah.
like from multiple guests on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Jeff Baldessari from The Communicative Leader described it as, you know, knowing that you can speak up and share your ideas,
Yeah.
even make mistakes, without fear of being judged or punished.
Yeah, and what I find fascinating about that is, you know, creating that environment of psychological safety isn't just about, like...
being nice.
being nice, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
unlocking potential.
Yes.
Like when people feel safe to take risks and voice their opinions,
That's where innovation happens?
that's where the magic happens.
Yes, exactly.
And that's how you get the best out of people.
Absolutely. And he even said that, like, small things can make a huge difference, like acknowledging when someone does something well, even if they don't completely nail it.
It's those little things.
Right? It's like...
that build up over time.
yeah, almost internal marketing. You know?
Oh, interesting.
You're selling your vision to your own team.
Right.
Just like you'd market a product to customers.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. And it makes you think about, you know, if you've ever worked somewhere where you felt really comfortable speaking your mind.
Right, right.
And how that impacts, you know, your performance. And
Totally.
how much you're willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah, like have you ever been in a situation where you didn't feel safe to speak up?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, it's the worst.
Yeah, you feel kind of shut down.
Yeah, totally.
And you don't want to contribute.
Exactly.
So yeah, psychological safety is huge.
Yeah, huge.
And then building on that idea,
Okay.
several of the episodes talked about this.
Okay.
The importance of authenticity and vulnerability in leadership.
Yeah, and I feel like Owen Marcus, the men's leadership coach,
Oh yeah, he was great.
he was so passionate about that.
He was on fire about that.
He was saying how men in particular are often conditioned to hide their vulnerabilities.
Yeah, like tough it out.
Yeah, never show weakness.
Right, which can be so isolating
It is.
and prevent them from
connecting.
forming those genuine connections. Yeah.
Yeah, and he gave this really interesting example about working with
I remember that.
Google engineers.
Yeah, Google engineers who you would think, like,
You would think
they're brilliant.
they're at the top of their game.
They've got it all figured out.
Right,
But even they struggle sometimes.
right. They're still human.
They're human and they need help.
They need support.
But because of that societal pressure
Yeah, to be strong.
to appear strong, they
Mhm.
might not ask for it.
Yeah, they don't want to seem weak.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's so relatable.
It is. It's not just a guy thing.
No, not at all.
We've all probably felt that pressure to appear perfect,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
especially at work.
Oh, especially at work.
But, you know, think about the leaders that you've really admired, the ones who have really inspired you.
The ones who you really felt connected to.
Yeah, chances are they're the ones who are willing to be real,
Yeah.
admit their mistakes.
Show their human side.
Yeah, and show that they're human just like everybody else.
Exactly. And Nancy?
Oh, yeah, Nancy, the life strategist.
Yeah, she was great.
She was awesome.
She made this point that seeing a leader be open about their own struggles,
Right.
it can actually make their team members
Yeah.
feel less alone
Less alone in their own
in
struggles.
their own challenges.
Yeah, it normalizes the ups and downs
Yeah.
that we all experience.
Exactly. And it makes it okay to not be perfect.
Right.
Like if the leader can admit
Yeah.
that they're struggling with work-life balance,
Totally.
then it gives everyone else permission to say, hey, I'm not perfect at this either.
Exactly. It opens the door for those honest and supportive conversations.
Yes.
Like, instead of pretending everything is fine,
Right.
we can actually start working together to find solutions.
Yeah. And speaking of work-life balance, or as Nancy calls it, work-life integration.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because it really is more about,
It's more integrated,
yeah, it's not so separate anymore.
especially in our always connected world.
Right.
It's more about like weaving it all together,
Right.
finding a way to make it all work.
In a sustainable way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she also talked a lot about
She did.
self-reflection,
Oh, yeah.
like really understanding how your own childhood experiences and beliefs
Wow.
might be impacting your behaviors and choices today.
Yeah, that's deep.
It is like, are you overworking because you feel like you constantly have to prove yourself?
Right?
Are you neglecting your personal life because you think that's what it takes to be successful?
Yeah. Are you carrying those old patterns?
Yeah, those old patterns.
From your childhood.
Exactly. And she was saying it's about getting to the root of those patterns.
Right.
And then making conscious choices about how you want to live and work.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like, oh, I need to set better boundaries, or
Right. It's deeper than that.
yeah, it's like, why are you having trouble setting those boundaries in the first place?
Exactly.
So another point that came up in both of these podcasts was the importance of embracing challenges
Oh, yeah.
and adapting to change.
Change is the only constant, right?
Right.
Especially these days.
Yeah. And Adam Weber, he shared this great example
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
about a woman who totally transformed her business during COVID.
Yeah. She had that fitness studio.
Yeah. She had like a thriving in-person fitness studio.
Right. And then everything shut down.
And then lockdown,
She had to figure out how to go online.
it's a completely different business model.
Totally different.
Yeah. But here's the amazing thing.
What's that?
She didn't just survive, she thrived.
Yeah. She crushed it.
Yeah. She embraced the challenge. She learned new skills, and she actually grew her business in ways that she never imagined before.
Yeah. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes those moments that force us out of our comfort zone
Right.
can actually lead to incredible opportunities.
Yes. And it's like sometimes we need that push
We do.
to really discover
What we're capable of.
what we're capable of.
Yeah, for sure.
And that ties into another really important takeaway, I think, which is moving beyond just like the activity and busyness
Oh my gosh.
and focusing on the outcomes.
Yes.
It's so easy to get caught up
So easy.
in that whirlwind of meetings and emails and to-do lists.
It'd be like a badge of honor.
Yeah, like, look how busy I am.
Yeah, I'm so important.
Right. But like Adam Weber said so brilliantly,
I love this quote.
he said, if you put your client hat on,
Okay.
would they be excited that you spent your time in 13 meetings yesterday?
Ooh, that's good.
Right. It's like,
Ouch.
yeah, exactly.
It hurts a little.
It makes you think, like, are all these activities actually moving us closer to our goals?
Right. Are they creating value?
Are we actually achieving anything meaningful?
That's the question.
Yes. And so it's about being more intentional with our time
Right.
and our energy and really asking ourselves, what impact are we trying to create?
And sometimes that means saying no to things,
Yes.
which can be so hard.
So hard, but so important.
So important.
Yeah.
And speaking of delegating,
Yes.
Owen Marcus actually had some great insights on how to delegate effectively.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
He emphasized that it's not just about dumping tasks on people.
Right.
It's about giving them the context, the resources, the support they need to succeed.
Empowering them to do it well.
Exactly.
And that's how you build a strong team.
Yeah, when people feel like they have a stake in the outcome,
Yes.
their motivation and their performance just skyrocket.
Right. They feel valued and they feel trusted.
Exactly.
So one thing that really struck me across several of the episodes
Okay.
was this focus on the human element of leadership.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about hitting targets or giving orders.
Right.
It's about connecting with people.
Right. Like real human connection.
Yeah, understanding their motivations, creating a work environment where everyone feels valued and respected.
It's so important.
And Owen Marcus,
Yeah.
in his discussion about men's emotional leadership development, he was talking about how a lot of men struggle to connect because they haven't been taught
Right.
how to express their emotions in a healthy way.
And that can lead to
All sorts of problems.
communication breakdowns.
Yeah.
Strained relationships.
At work and in their personal lives.
Yeah.
And he was saying it's so important to create safe spaces where men can explore their emotions and practice vulnerability and learn to communicate more authentically.
And that's not just beneficial for men.
No.
It's beneficial for everyone in the workplace when
Right.
people feel like they can bring their whole selves to work.
Yes.
That's when you get real connection, collaboration, and creativity.
Exactly.
And then Maria,
Oh, yeah, Maria.
she's the compassionate leadership expert.
That's great.
She introduced this really interesting concept of moving away from a debate model of communication
Okay.
where everyone is trying to win an argument
Right.
and towards a dialogue model.
I love that.
Yeah, so instead of trying to prove each other wrong,
Right.
it's about genuinely wanting to understand each other's perspectives.
Right. And working together to find solutions
Yes.
that benefit everyone.
Yeah, and she even offered this dialogue roadmap
Oh,
as a framework.
I'm intrigued.
Start with curiosity,
Okay.
move into empathy,
Okay.
and ultimately arrive at a place of support.
So it's about approaching conversations with that genuine curiosity, trying to really feel what the other person is feeling, and then collaborating to find solutions that address everyone's needs and concerns.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something we could all use a little more of
Oh my gosh.
in our lives, both professionally and personally.
It just makes so much sense.
It does.
And it's a good reminder that communication is about so much more than just the words we use.
Right. It's about understanding the emotions.
The unspoken needs.
Yeah, the underlying motivations
Yes.
that are driving those interactions.
Exactly. And speaking of nonverbal communication, Maria also emphasized the importance of embodiment,
Ooh, embodiment.
like paying attention to your physical sensations and emotions during conversations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
it is. It's like she's connecting those elements of mindfulness and energy awareness
Yeah,
to effective communication.
I like that.
Yeah, she was saying that, becoming more attuned to your own body and emotions allows you to better sense and respond to the energy of others.
It's like you're tuning into a whole other layer of
Yeah.
communication that's happening beneath the surface.
Right. And so much of communication is about what's not being said.
It is.
It's about picking up on those subtle cues, those shifts in energy that can completely change the dynamic of an interaction.
Absolutely. And that takes practice
It does.
to really tune into those subtle cues.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, but I think what's really inspiring is that while there's no one-size-fits-all approach to leadership communication,
Yeah, for sure.
these are all skills that we can develop with practice and intentionality.
Absolutely.
It's not about being born with some magical charisma gene.
Right.
It's about making a conscious choice to show up as our best selves.
Yes.
To build those authentic connections and to create work environments where everyone feels empowered
Yeah.
to contribute their best work.
Love it.
So,
Yeah. It's not about chasing some elusive idea of perfection.
right, it's about embracing the journey,
Yeah.
recognizing that we're all works in progress,
Always learning.
always learning, and there's always room for growth.
For sure.
Yeah.
And one recurring message that I found really powerful was this idea that leadership isn't tied to a specific title or position.
Okay.
It's about how we show up in every interaction,
Yeah.
whether it's with our team or our clients or even just strangers we encounter in our daily lives.
Yeah, like just those small moments of leadership.
Yeah, those little moments where we have the opportunity to influence and impact those around us.
Exactly.
And, the question we should all be asking ourselves,
Yeah.
are we using that influence in a way that aligns with our values?
Ooh, good question.
Are we being the kind of leaders we want to see in the world?
That's a good one to reflect on.
It is.
Yeah.
And speaking of influence, another theme that really resonated with me was this idea that communication goes far beyond just the words we use.
Oh, for sure.
It's about our tone of voice,
Body language.
our body language, our ability to truly listen.
Yes.
And yes, that willingness to be vulnerable and authentic that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. All of that plays a role.
And Dennis, the organizational adaptability expert from The Communicative Leader, he made a great point about the importance of what he called warm data.
Warm data.
Yeah, he argued that we often get so fixated on hard data,
Yeah.
like metrics and statistics,
Numbers.
that we lose sight of the human stories behind those numbers.
Yeah, we forget that those numbers represent real people
Exactly.
with real experiences and emotions and challenges.
Right, and if we're not taking those human factors into account,
Right.
we might come up with solutions that look great on paper, but completely fail to address the real needs of the people involved.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also brought up this really interesting point about the role of AI
Oh, yeah.
in leadership communication.
Yeah. How can we ignore that these days?
Right, it's everywhere.
It is.
And he acknowledged both its potential and its pitfalls.
Right.
He cautioned against blindly adopting AI solutions
Yeah.
without carefully considering the ethical implications and the potential for bias.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly. We need to have clear guidelines and human oversight to ensure that AI is being used responsibly and not perpetuating inequalities.
Right. So it's a tool.
It is a tool.
But it can't replace human judgment and empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah, we still need those leaders who can critically assess the situation and make sure that the technology is being used to enhance human connection, not replace it.
And speaking of human connection, another key takeaway for me was the importance of self-awareness in leadership.
Yeah, for sure.
Adam Weber from Sales Pipeline Radio had this great suggestion.
Okay.
Regularly ask for feedback from your team.
Yeah.
And those you work closely with.
Yeah.
It can be tough to hear criticism.
It can be.
But it's invaluable for identifying those blind spots we all have.
Right. We don't always see ourselves as others see us.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we don't have a perfect view of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that feedback, even if it's difficult to hear, can help us grow.
And become more effective.
Become more effective leaders.
Yeah. And remember, feedback is a two-way street.
It is.
As leaders, we also need to be giving feedback to our team members in a way that's constructive and supportive and focused on helping them develop their skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the episodes of The Communicative Leader talked about the importance of celebrating successes.
Oh, yeah.
Both big and small.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the efforts and contributions of your team.
Right.
And creating a culture where people feel appreciated and valued.
Yeah, because everyone wants to feel like their work matters.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything grand or elaborate.
Right, just a small acknowledgement.
Yeah, sometimes a simple thank you.
Yeah.
Or a public acknowledgement of someone's hard work can make all the difference.
It really can.
It's about taking those small moments to show your team that you see them, you appreciate them, and you value their contributions.
Yeah.
Another really powerful concept that came up was this idea that leadership communication is at its core about storytelling.
Oh, interesting.
Adam Weber, in one of the Sales Pipeline Radio episodes, he emphasized this point when he was talking about organizational clarity.
Yeah.
He argued that it's not enough to just present the facts or the logic of a decision.
You need to connect with people on an emotional level.
Exactly. You need to paint a picture, create a narrative that people can connect with.
Yeah.
Think about the leaders who have truly inspired you.
Yeah.
They're probably the ones who can tell a compelling story.
Right, a story that resonates.
A story that resonates with you on a deeper level.
Yeah, it makes you think differently.
And it makes you want to get on board with their vision.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you want to be a more effective leader, start thinking about yourself as a storyteller.
Ooh, I like that.
What stories can you share that will inspire your team, build trust, and create a shared sense of purpose?
Powerful stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
And another recurring theme was this importance of creating a culture of continuous learning.
Oh, yeah. Always be learning.
Always be learning in today's rapidly changing world.
Right.
We can't just rest on our laurels
and
assume that what worked yesterday will work tomorrow.
Right. Things are constantly changing.
We need to be constantly seeking out new information, challenging our assumptions, adapting to new ways of doing things. And one practical suggestion that came up was to encourage reverse mentoring.
Reverse mentoring.
Yeah. Where more junior team members share their expertise.
Oh, interesting.
With more senior leaders.
Okay.
It's a great way to break down silos, promote knowledge sharing, and ensure that everyone's skills are up to date.
I like that.
And it's not just about formal training programs.
Right.
It's about fostering a mindset of curiosity.
Yes.
And continuous improvement.
Like always be learning.
Always be learning. Exactly.
One of the most inspiring takeaways for me was this idea that as leaders, we need to be the yeast that leavens the whole loaf.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right.
Owen Marcus used that brilliant analogy.
He did.
When he was talking about the ripple effect of positive leadership.
Right.
He pointed out that a tiny bit of yeast might seem insignificant at first.
Yeah.
But it has the power to transform an entire loaf of bread.
It does.
Making it rise and expand.
Yeah.
In the same way, even small acts of kindness, compassion, and support can have a ripple effect throughout our organizations and beyond.
That's a powerful image.
It is.
It's like that butterfly effect, where one small action can have a huge impact.
And it's a reminder that our actions as leaders, however small they may seem, can have a profound impact on those around us.
And that impact can then ripple outwards.
Yes.
Influencing our teams, our families, our communities.
And ultimately the world.
The world, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed by the challenges of leadership, remember that you don't have to do it all alone.
Right.
Focus on cultivating those positive qualities within yourself.
Yeah.
And trust that your actions, however small they may seem, have the power to create a ripple effect of positive change.
We also heard some really thought-provoking insights about how to navigate conflict effectively.
Oh, yeah, conflict. That's a big one.
It's inevitable in any workplace, but it doesn't have to be destructive. In fact, when handled well, conflict can actually lead to greater understanding, innovation, and even stronger relationships.
I like that.
Yeah, Maria, in her discussion about compassionate leadership, she emphasized the importance of addressing conflict directly and respectfully.
Oh, that's hard.
It can be tempting to sweep problems under the rug.
Yeah, or just avoid it altogether.
Or avoid those difficult conversations, but that only makes things worse in the long run.
It festers.
It festers, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space where people feel safe to express their concerns and disagreements without fear of retribution.
So you have to create that psychological safety.
You do.
Yeah, okay.
Maria also stressed the importance of listening with empathy when conflict arises.
That's a tough one.
It is. It's easy to get defensive.
Yeah, and want to be right.
And focus on proving your own point.
Yeah.
But if you can truly listen to and understand the other person's perspective, you can start to find common ground.
Right.
And work towards a solution that benefits everyone involved.
So it's about seeing it from their side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She also highlighted the importance of setting clear boundaries.
Oh, okay.
Being compassionate doesn't mean being a pushover. Or letting people walk all over you.
Yeah, you still have to stand up for yourself.
Exactly. It's about communicating your needs and expectations clearly and respectfully.
Right.
And holding people accountable for their actions.
Yeah. And sometimes that means having those difficult conversations.
It does.
Yeah.
Another suggestion was to regularly check in with your team.
Okay.
And ask for their feedback on how things are going.
So like just creating that open dialogue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This helps create a culture of open communication.
Right.
And can help you identify potential problems before they escalate into major conflicts.
Like getting ahead of it.
Yeah, proactive rather than reactive.
I like that.
Another important theme that emerged was this need to adapt our communication styles to different audiences and situations.
Right, because what works for one person
might not work for another.
Doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah.
Owen Marcus, in his discussion about men's emotional leadership development, should point out that
men often communicate differently than women.
Okay.
They may be more direct, less emotionally expressive, and more focused on problem solving than on building rapport.
Interesting.
And it's not about saying one style is better than the other.
Right.
It's about recognizing those differences and adapting our communication accordingly.
So meeting people where they are.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you're working with a team that's more emotionally expressive, you might need to adjust your communication style to be more empathetic and supportive.
Yeah.
And if you're working with a team that's more task-oriented, you might need to be more direct and focus on clear expectations and outcomes.
Yeah.
The key is to be flexible, adaptable, and always mindful of how your communication is being received.
So it's not just about you, it's about the other person.
It's about them, exactly.
Yeah.
And remember, effective communication is a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting your message across. It's also about actively listening and being open to feedback.
Yeah.
One practical tip that came up was to pay attention to your body language.
Oh, yeah. Body language is so important.
It is, are you making eye contact?
Okay.
Are you nodding your head to show that you're listening? Are your arms crossed?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Which can signal defensiveness.
Right.
Small adjustments to your body language can make a big difference in how your message is perceived.
Totally.
Another suggestion was to avoid interrupting people.
Ooh, yeah.
Or finishing their sentences.
I'm so guilty of that.
It's a hard one.
It is.
Let them finish their thoughts before you respond and really show that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say.
So it's about being present.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes the most powerful communication is simply being present and listening without judgment.
Wow. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive.
We have.
But it's clear that leadership communication is a complex and multifaceted skill. It's not something you can master overnight.
Right.
But it's something you can continuously develop and improve upon throughout your career.
Always be learning.
Always be learning.
And the good news is there are so many resources available to help you on this journey.
There are.
From books and podcasts to workshops and coaching programs.
Right.
There's something out there for everyone.
So no excuses.
No excuses.
The key is to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Commit to continuous learning and never stop striving to become a more effective and impactful leader.
And what's truly inspiring is that even small changes in your communication style can make a big difference.
They can.
By focusing on being more authentic, empathetic, and supportive.
Right.
You can create a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond yourself.
Yeah, I love that. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways that you've noticed so far?
What's resonated with you and what are you excited to implement in your own work life?
Yeah. We'll be right back to explore one final but crucial theme that emerged from these episodes. You know, I've been thinking about something you said right before the break.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
That question about what our listeners are most excited to try.
Right. Like, what are they going to take away from this?
Yeah. And it got me thinking about how this all boils down to purpose.
It really does.
And wouldn't you know, that's actually the last big theme that we noticed in all these episodes.
Yeah, purpose is huge.
It's that driving force.
It's the fuel that keeps us going.
The fuel that gets us through those tough challenges and inspires us to make a real impact.
Totally.
And Owen Marcus from the Communicative Leader podcast, he described it as that essential ingredient for finding meaning and fulfillment in our work.
It's what makes it all worthwhile.
Right. It's not just about a paycheck.
Exactly.
It's about feeling like you're contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Yeah. And he argued that when we're connected to something bigger than ourselves, our passion, our commitment, our engagement, it all goes up.
And he even shared that story about a client.
Oh, yeah. The one who had achieved all the success.
Yeah. She was like at the top of her game.
But she still felt like something was missing.
Yeah, like an emptiness.
And it wasn't until she took the time to really reconnect with her core values. And define a purpose that she was truly passionate about. That she found that spark again.
That's so powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a good reminder that purpose isn't just handed to us.
Right.
It's something we have to actively discover and cultivate.
So how do we do that?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. How do we find that sense of purpose?
Especially in our work.
Yeah, because sometimes it feels like, especially if you're not feeling fulfilled in your work.
Right. Like you're just going through the motions.
Yeah. So, several suggestions came up.
Okay. Let's hear them.
In these different episodes.
Yeah.
One was to start by reflecting on our values.
Our values. Okay.
Yeah. What's truly important to us? What do we believe in? What kind of legacy do we want to leave behind?
Yeah, those are big questions.
They are.
But they're important ones.
Yeah. Another suggestion was to think about our strengths.
Our strengths? Okay.
What are we naturally good at? What do we enjoy doing? And how can we leverage those strengths to make a positive impact?
I like that.
Yeah.
Like finding that sweet spot where your strengths and your passions align.
Yeah. And of course, our passions can't be ignored.
Right. Like what gets us excited.
Yeah, what makes us feel alive.
And how can we align our work with those passions?
Yeah, that's where the magic happens.
For sure.
And you can find that intersection.
Absolutely.
So once we've identified that purpose, it's crucial to articulate it.
Articulate it, okay.
Whether that's through a mission statement or a personal manifesto or even just sharing it openly with our team.
Right, like putting it out there.
Yeah. The important thing is to make it visible. Let people know what we stand for, what drives us.
Yeah, because when people understand our purpose, they're more likely to feel inspired and motivated.
To follow our lead.
To get on board with our vision. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not enough to just talk about it.
Right. We have to actually live our purpose.
Yeah. Our decisions, our actions, our interactions.
It's got to be reflected in everything we do.
They should all be in alignment with our core values and our overall mission.
Yeah. Walk the walk.
Walk the walk, right?
Don't just talk the talk.
Exactly.
And if there's a disconnect between what we say and what we do,
people will notice.
They'll see right through it.
And our credibility will take a hit.
Big time.
Yeah. So one practical tip I loved was to regularly check in with ourselves and ask, are my actions aligned with my purpose?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
Like a little gut check.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the answer is no, it's time to make some adjustments.
Yeah, course correct.
Realign ourselves with what truly matters.
Get back on track.
Exactly.
Another great tip was to surround ourselves with people who support our purpose.
Yeah, your tribe.
Yes. And who will hold us accountable.
Yeah, you need those people who will call you out.
Yeah, who will tell you the truth.
When you're getting off track.
Even when you don't want to hear it.
Exactly.
So seek out those mentors, those colleagues, those friends, those family members.
Your support system.
Yes, who share your values.
And who will encourage you to be your best self.
Yeah, those people are gold.
They are.
So here we are.
At the end of our deep dive.
I can't believe how much we covered.
I know, right?
It's been amazing.
So many incredible insights.
From all these different experts.
Yeah, it's like we got a crash course in leadership communication.
We did.
From creating psychological safety to embracing vulnerability.
Understanding different perspectives.
Adapting our communication styles.
Leading with purpose.
You've explored a whole toolkit.
Of strategies that can help anyone become a more effective and impactful leader.
Absolutely. And the best part is, it doesn't require some grand personality makeover.
Right.
Or years of intensive training.
It's about those small, intentional changes we make each day.
Yeah, those little moments where we choose to show up as our best selves.
And those small changes can create a ripple effect.
It can.
Influencing not just our own lives,
but the lives of those around us.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit us with it.
If you could implement just one of the principles we've discussed today,
Okay.
which one would it be and why?
Ooh, it's a good one.
And what small change could you make
that
would have a positive impact on your communication and leadership?
So we encourage you to really sit with that question.
Yeah, let it percolate.
See what emerges.
And until next time,
keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving to be the best leaders you can be.